Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
The Kit Kat Club, the social hub of Cabaret that first launched on Broadway in 1966 and inspired stage productions of the same play around the world. Nanaimo Theatre Group is presenting it here at the Bailey Studio. That's what we're looking at today on Go. Fighting for men, a champ in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, searching for treasure and finding it, an Olympian Caitlin Osmond. Cabaret is set in Berlin in 1931 and focuses around a romance that builds up and perhaps explodes between a singer in a nightclub called the Kit Kat Club. Her name is Sally Bowles, and she catches the attention and love interest of an inspiring writer called Cliff Bradshaw. What happens between these two? Well, you'll have to find out for yourself. There are, of course, political undertones to this play in Berlin 1931 with the rise of Nazi power. This is a show intended not for the entire family, but for adults only. It opens here at the Bailey Studio on February the 26th. That's Cabaret from Nanaimo Theatre Group. We're going to start things off with a story of a man who has a passion for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he is using that passion, that skill, his competitive edge to raise money for a Nanaimo men's organization, but he's going to do that in LA. Here's Annette Lucas. LaPointe is seeking donations for every tournament that he wins in LA, and there is a fundraising and sign-up event taking place at Fibber McGee's on February the 23rd. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. Sheila Bowman is the director of NTG's production of Cabaret. There are countless numbers of musicals to choose from. Why did you pick Cabaret?
I chose Cabaret because I wanted a musical that was different, that would call in a different demographic perhaps than are used to going to a musical. When you think of things like Singing in the Rain, My Fair Lady, the classics, they have been around for a long time. They are a big draw for the older crowd. I wanted something that younger people would be more drawn to. There are some incredible cuts or clips of this on YouTube with Alan Cumming in them, and a lot of people have seen those and they know how gritty it is and how different it is. This particular version is the 1998 version of the script. They haven't pulled any punches with it. They have put in every element and taken it to its fullest, whereas versions of this script from previous years are a bit toned down. A lot of us remember Liza Minnelli doing it and thinking, oh yeah, it was a really fun show, it was really happy, everybody sings Cabaret. But in this particular version, that isn't the takeaway thought at the end of the day. The takeaway thought is, wow, the Nazis were on their way, people were being killed. This is really gritty and dark.
Okay. Were there any considerations that you had to sort of overcome, put aside, as far as being able to actually stage it? With the number of cast, the talent that this cast would have to have, the live orchestra that accompanies, was it just, oh, we can do it, no problem? Or were you ever sort of hesitant that maybe this is a bit big for us to pull off?
No, this is the first musical I've ever directed. So ignorance is bliss. For me, it was like, we can do this. We've got 20 people in the cast and we've got a full orchestra, and we have some limitations in the size of our stage, mostly to do with height. But no, I don't see any limitations, so I just go for it and use my wonderful design team, the experts that I have working around me, to smooth out those limitations as I run into them.
Excellent. And we're here today at the Q to Q.
Yes.
And there are a lot of cues.
There are the lighting cues in this show. As you probably noticed, we don't have any set pieces. Besides 2 tables that remain on and a trunk that comes and goes, the set is created by the lighting. We have a fabulous lighting designer, Brad McCauley, and an equally fabulous set person, Roger Lappin. And one builds the set with light, the other one builds it with the actual tactile things you see here.
Wonderful. And you got a couple weeks, opens on February the 26th?
February 26th, yes.
Excellent, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing the production when it opens here at the Bailey Studio. We'll be back with more on Cabaret after a short break. Treasure hunting can be a lucrative hobby. A rabbit looking for a forever home and getting to know Olympic figure skater Caitlin Osmond.
Did you know that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the only martial art that can be applied at full speed, full power against a resisting opponent without injuring them, making it the most practical martial art you can study for self-defense, and a huge part of the rapidly growing sport of mixed martial arts.
You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Kate Bergen. You ever see those guys with the metal detectors walking around the beach or a field? You ever wonder how lucrative that hobby is? Well, it caught the curiosity of our very own Rayanne LaPlante. Here she is now with a treasure hunting story. When it comes to live theater, we often see productions remounted, produced again, even though they might be 10, 20, 30, 50 years old or even older. Cabaret is not new to the stage by any means, and that actually says something about life today. What are some of the parallels, maybe politically, between Cabaret, set in 1931, and what we're experiencing today?
Well, Berlin in 1931, following, of course, World War I and the heavy reparations demanded of Germany, fell into a period of socialist liberal government, and censorship was thrown right out the window. In 1931 Berlin, it was...
I don't think there's a parallel there today, though. We could be facing more censorship than ever. That's arguable.
However, there was such a huge gap between the small minority rich and the large majority poor. Many people lived on the streets. There was a very poor populace, and it was the same conditions that we're seeing develop now with the 99% movement here in North America, and the growing disparity between that small group of rich and the rest of us again.
Okay, excellent. Well, we're going to experience some more of that music and the visual and auditory candy that is Cabaret later on this edition of Go Island. But we're throwing things over first now to Matt Carter, and then after that, it's a Mariner Minute, and then after that, we'll check in with Kelly Robinson to see what pets are looking for homes at the SPCA. Carolyn Kuhn plays Sally Bowles in Nanaimo Theatre Group's production of Cabaret. You've sort of been off of the stage for about 4 years. We've caught some of your performance already. You've jumped into the deep end and you sound and look fabulous.
Thanks.
What do you connect to with the character of Sally?
Sally is so fun. She really lives life like there's no tomorrow, and I love that about her. But you know, she is a bit of an ostrich. She puts her head in the sand. She doesn't see the dark side of what's coming in Berlin. She just wants to party all the time. And sure, I like that. I can't be like that in real life, but it's sure fun to play that.
What would you like to tell her? If you could sort of coach her in life, what would you like her to be able to see once she takes her head out of the sand?
Oh, wow, good question, Kate. I would like her to see that, let's see.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I sort of put you on the spot there.
You did. I would like her to see, let's see, how we're all connected. So right now she's pretty insular, she's pretty infantile. She's a child, and so I think I'd like to tell her to grow up a little bit and see the bigger picture.
And you wouldn't have your role and your character without your partner, your male lead. And I don't think we're going to have time to catch up with him today.
That's right.
So tell me a bit about who you're sharing the stage with.
Oh, Cliff. Timothy's great, and Cliff is a wonderful person who kind of jumps into the scene. He's an American who comes to experience this fantastical Berlin of 1930, and
falls in love with you.
Well, I don't know if he truly falls in love with me, but he is definitely a mark for a lot of people in the show. And I think Sally and Cliff, they do fall in love to a
There's
certain
Cliff
point.
right now walking behind us.
There he is.
I'm really aware of of your time. You guys are a bit behind on the cue to cue, so
Yeah.
I'm going to let you get back to the stage.
Thanks,
and
Kate.
we'll see you in there. Thank you. And we break a leg out there, as they say in theater. Thank
you so
Looks
much.
like a great production of Cabaret at Nanaimo Theatre Group, opening on February the 26th. We're turning from arts to sports. The Olympics in Sochi are underway, and we're going to meet one of the figure skating hopefuls for a medal. Her name is, do I have her name here? Caitlin Osmond. She's from Edmonton. We're going to spend some time with her through Tim Dancy. Go Canada! That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. Just a reminder that Cabaret from Nanaimo Theatre Group is not really friendly for the entire family. Enjoy it as an evening out for the adults. It opens here at the Bailey Studio on Rosstown Road on February the 26th and runs on selected dates right through until March the 15th. You can buy tickets online and look at specific show times, www.nanaimotheatregroup.com. Thanks for watching this edition of Go Island. We'll see you at the theater.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.